Alright guys, so you guys know that I like RDTAs personally, and there's a resurgence of RDTAs out on the market right now. They are, a combination of your favorite RDA mixed with your favorite RDTA, and they're all coming out to fruition. And, let's take a look at some pictures, I'll show you what we're reviewing, and, yeah, let's do this. Alright guys, so when it comes to RDTAs, you know that I'm a big fan of RDTAs, whether it's the OGenny, the Avocado, special edition, the Wicket looks like it's going to be a good one, the MAV-T has actually shown to be a decent RDTA, and right now we're going to be talking about the DnV Venom RDTA, or the Venom Tank. Now, they did have the Venom RDA, and this is loosely based off of that. Now, when I say loosely, it's because it doesn't share a lot of the same qualities. Maybe the airflow holes, they are actually the same size. So if you do like the Venom RDA, you're going to like the airflow on this as well. Now, I can divulge a little bit deeper, as you can make this a very restricted vape with the triple 0.8 millimeter airflow holes. That's going to make it about a mouth to lung. I mean, it's about as close as you can get. Then you can, twist the airflow cap, make it a little bit more restricted. So this thing has a little bit more versatility, and that's something you're going to see in the vape game from here on out. Interchangeable airflow is a big deal. It's a big thing. It's going to be one of the things moving forward that really distinguishes your RDA from the next. Why should I buy yours when this one you can change the airflow out to how I like it? That's something to look into. This is in that trend, and I'll show you down below what I mean. Now, down below, I will say that these are 1 millimeter by 3 airflow holes. It is 0.8 by 3 airflow holes, so just get that and know that I made a mistake below, but I'm fixing it at the moment. But yes, we'll discuss this down below, and I'll tell you what I think at the end. It's one of them things where if you like the Venom RDA, you may like this, but there are some things that I do have to point out. So that being said, let's take a look at the Venom Tank, and let's drop down to the table, and what's that? Let's do this. Alright guys, so this is the packaging. The little gemski itself comes in a, I don't know, I guess, foam, fake leather-esque type deal with the zipper. Anyways, so one difference between this and the DnV RDA is this little rubber, zipper part right here. They actually have white inlay rubber instead of just black on black rubber, and it's going to match the white, lettering DnV on front. And right here they give you this little thing. I don't remember what it's called. If you remember what it's called, put it into the comments below. I can never remember the names of them. But I guess they give you this for if you want to clip it on a belt, your backpack, you want to go rock climbing, you want to go mountain climbing. I mean, I don't know. It's there for that. So you open it up, and this is where the little gemski itself is going to be at. Now, these were the same stickers they gave you with the RDA as well, and it says the Venom Addy by DnV. Now, it would have been nice if they would at least customized it a little bit to say RDTA instead of Addy, which means to me that they just reused those stickers for this, which is, fine, but, sometimes you got to do a little bit extra. Not a bad little case that it's in, because, you can always take this little foam-esque deal out and put your own stuff in here. So it's actually a nice, 2-for-1 type deal. Okay, so right here it says Venom, and then your RDTA is going to be sitting right here. Very reminiscent of the original packaging, like I said. Very similar. I would say it's identical. So right here is the extra bag, and you're going to have 2 Allen keys with a couple of extra post screws. And along with the post screws, you're going to have these littler grub screws, which are going to go into your 510 to make it a non-squonking RDTA. Alright, so taking a look at the rest of what you got in here, they give you a lot of extras, and I'll explain some of the stuff in a second. A lot of extra O-rings, a couple black ones, one clear one. So there's that as well. And then the main star and the main difference, which is kind of strange because you would think that they would have named this something else other than the Venom RDTA because of these main little feature extras. And this is something that you're going to see, I think, from here on out. I mean, most companies realize they can tap into a variety of different airflows with the same RDA, and it's just the way of the future, in my opinion. And I mean, it's already started to happen. If you look at the Wicked RDTA, the Wicked RDA, just a lot of different things. I can't really think of them in my mind right now. Even, you know, you got the Skyfall, which was kind of, some can say, the starter of it. But, you know, that's up for debate. So you got a triple, I would say about 1 millimeter airflow holes. You have a wide open airflow hole. Let's see if I can get a reading on it. It's going to be very tight, I know that. So I would say about 3 millimeters is being friendly. So that's about the best I can give you as well as a measurement. So let's just go with 3 millimeter airflow holes, and then, you know, you're gonna have an identical one for each, and then you're also gonna have a, you know, just a stud piece, which is gonna make it a single-sided airflow, which seems to be the way of what's going on right now. A lot of RDAs have been going with the single airflow, and it's just the way of the future. Alright guys, this is the little gem ski itself. Yeah, so if you remember what the Venom RDA looks like, I'm not quite sure. I don't think this is very reminiscent of it. I believe they changed up the top cap just a little bit. The drip tip on here is not my favorite style of drip tip. These kind of drip tips always seem to make you suck up juice, and I don't mean like, you know, large amounts, but it seems like because of the way that it's coned and it's kind of funneled like that, juice comes up and sits there, gets on your lip, and these are my absolute least favorite drip tips around. Now, I'm pretty sure this is the drip tip that came with it. I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive that's the one they included. And it is a black Delrin drip tip. So taking a look at the inside of the top cap, it is stainless steel. You're going to see there is a slight domage. So for all you domage conspiracy theorists, yeah, you're going to be good on this one. There is some slight domage. I'd say there's some peaks and valleys and some dips and dews, and you know what I'm saying? So yeah, you got double-sided airflow on here, but as you know, as I showed you earlier, you can change it. Now this is where it becomes reminiscent of the Venom RDA, and one thing I don't understand is why they even included this part right here. I don't get it. It doesn't serve a purpose. It's kind of just there because they wanted to call this the Venom RDA or RDTA. I don't really understand it, but very easy to take this part off right here. Nice threading, pretty decent threading. Right there's that white O-ring that I showed you earlier in the bag. Then you're going to see a, you know, squonk pin that you can put a non-pin in there to make it non-squonk. Something interesting about this RDTA compared to others, there's 4 fill port holes that are going to fill your tank. That's not something you normally get on an RDTA that's squonkable. Usually you get 1 or 2 holes and that's about it. So yeah, very nice threading for what it is. It is a PMMA tank, I believe. So taking a look at right here, I do believe this is a black Ultim insert for right here for the insulator, and it's going to be the same right here, or it's either black Peak or black Ultim, one or the other. So something a little bit interesting and something I like that they did, it's going to be very hard for you to see it, but right there, if I can get it in the right light, there is a little droplet, and that's where your fill hole is going to be. Now, your fill holes are going to be covered with your airflow, and the release valve over here to make sure you can still, you know, fill and it won't mess up the filling process is going to be covered over here. So there is essentially how your deck is going to look. This is why I don't understand why it's called the Venom RDTA, because this was not an option on the Venom RDA, but you know, for what it is, it's not bad. Now if you wanted to do, right there is a little bit, you can see that little droplet right there, that's where you're going to fill it. So that's that, guys. You do have 4 different leg ports, if you will. This is going to be your positive, which is surrounded by the black Peak or black Ultim, not quite sure what that is. And then your negative is going to be milled into the deck. So let's put some wick in this, and I'll put a build in it, and we will discuss it a little bit more. Also, you can do coil up or coil down on this one. Kind of recommend you do coil belly up, but you know, either way is good to go. Alright guys, so this is how you're going to want the coil to look. Just right in the middle. Belly up is a little bit better than belly down, because you're going to see if you go belly down, you're going to run the risk of hitting this little disc right here, which, like I said, I don't understand the point of that disc. I think technically you could take it out and not use it, but I mean, I'm not going to go through that. The wick or the e-juice I'm going to be using today is Hometown Hero Crunchy Sweet Squares, which is supposed to be a Rice Krispie. I believe they changed the name of that juice to that, because it used to be Not Your Mama's Rice Krispies, and they changed the name. So, the cotton we're going to be using today is, no, not Cotton Bacon, or Kevin Bacon, but Bad Drip Labs cotton. Yeah, I switched it up a little bit. I knew you guys were going to think I was going to say no, not Kevin Bacon, but I still got it in there. You know what I'm saying? I still got to say what I wanted to say about Kevin Bacon. So yeah, very easy to wick this thing, guys. And I also have a pair of scissors today. I'm not using my trusty rusty wire cutters. Cut to the edges, I would say, just about cut to the edges. You're going to want it sitting just right in the well. Now, one thing I will say about this thing is those wells, those holes that the cotton's supposed to go in, they are pretty big, so you're going to have no issue with wicking. And the airflow holes I'm going to go with are the little triple airflows. I like that one the most. So just to show you guys, you can still fill it up even with one in. It should still fill up pretty decently. Yep, good to go, guys. Ooh, there we go. So yeah, it fills up really nicely. You do have a decent sized fill hole right there. Then when you're finished, just put the other one on and you're good to go. So just like that. Let's get some e-juice on top as well. So I'm going to go back up on top and I'll tell you what I think about this thing, guys. What I think about this thing anyway. Alright guys, so you know, sometimes you may not agree with me, and sometimes I might not agree with you, but if there's one thing we can all agree on, it's the fact that I'm going to try to keep this short, sweet, and to the motherfucking point. Alright, so just a little bit of a back briefing on DnV. I don't really know a lot about them or about the company. I tried looking it up online a little bit. I didn't really know who to talk to get information, so I did a little bit of research. It looks like they are based out of France, or there's a store in France that they may ship from. I'm not sure if that's where they're located or if that's their main house of operation, but when you go online it will say their store is in France, so I don't really know. And you know, DnV stands for Drip and Vape, so if you didn't know that, there's always that. Something I mentioned down below is that the insulator for the, you know, the 510 pin and the positive side of the posts, it is a black peak, and the airflow, I guess, discs, if you want to call them that, or airflow inserts, are black peak as well. So keep that in mind that, you know, you could heat up your coils with those in, and they should be alright, so just keep that in mind. Alright, so let's talk about some pros and cons with this. We'll start off with the cons. One of the first cons to me is you got to take out the airflow insert to fill this thing up, and if you're not squonking, keep that in mind. You will have to take that thing out and fill it up, and that's something I'm just not really a fan of. Some of these airflow inserts, they get stuck pretty easily. You have to try to pick it out with your nail, and then when you try to pick it out, it goes flying across the room, that kind of deal. You know what I'm saying? I know you've all been there, you've all done stuff like that. Or if you got tweezers on you, you can get the one pair of airflow inserts out easily, but the one with the 3 airflow holes, very hard to get out. Even if you have no nails, good luck. I don't know what you're going to do. The next negative to some of you may be the size of the tank. It only holds 1.8 mils of juice. Very small even for an RDTA. Most RDTAs, the standard is about 2 mils. So that is pretty low on this. I'm not personally a fan of the 510 system where you put a pin in it to stop the e-juice from coming out to make it a non-squonk. So for me that is a negative. I think they should have just included a normal 510, because if you're going to do a non-squonk, you know you're going to do the non-squonk. You're not going to keep switching between the both. So that, to me, is a negative. The next negative is this drip tip, and I will do an example or give you a demonstration of why I dislike it. And now I got, you're probably not going to be able to see it, but now I got e-juice all over my lips. And it happens every time with these styles of drip tips. I will try to show you a little bit easier. You can see how much e-juice is just resting on that drip tip. And that's because it's very low profile, and it's kind of at a cone shape, and it's a very narrow bore. And that is the exact, I don't know, it just makes it to where it's like you're sucking up the e-juice through a straw, it gets on your lips. It's just not my style, and it's something I've never really liked. There's no locking mechanism on this. That could be a negative to some of you. I think at this stage in the game, every single anything should have a locking mechanism, whether it's an RDTA, RDA. RTA is not so much because you can grab onto a tank and just take it off, but this should have one nonetheless. You know, so for some of you, the style of it, you may not like it aesthetically. That could be a negative. That's going to be about the last negative that I have for this. Just take those negatives in. Some of them are deal breakers, some of them aren't. You know, some of them are subjective. So let's move on to the positives. The first positive is where you do fill up, there is a little water drop or e-juice drop mark, and I thought that was pretty neat. Now, it's hard to see under some circumstances, but I think it's neat that they did add that. The O-ring tolerances on this are all pretty decent, especially because you're going to have to take this cap on and off to fill it, so the O-ring tolerances are pretty decent. The build quality, I would say, is pretty decent. I don't really see where it's anything out of the ordinary. It's nothing special. I would say it's actually leaning on more the cheap feeling side, so that could be a negative as well, but it's nothing special, nothing not special. The next positive is going to be the 3 different types of airflow that you can, you know, incorporate into this. You can do the very restricted, almost mouth to lung. You could do mouth to lung with single-sided. You could do single-sided wide open. You could do no airflow inserts, which I don't really recommend, but that is there if you want to do it. Other than that, for how short it is, it's about 23 millimeters, you know, tall and 22, you know, millimeters, I guess, wide. So that's a pretty decently small RDTA. It will fit on most mods and it won't look too much out of place. Just an example, this is the MAV-T and this is the Venom. You know, this is quite a bit shorter than this one. So that could be a positive to some of you. The build space, how you can build the coil any way you wrap your legs, whether you do it overhand, underhand, it will work in this. That's a positive. One thing I did forget to mention about negatives is that center disc in the RDTA in the middle. I don't see the point of it. I don't know why it's there. Some are going to say it reduces your build space and it makes the chamber smaller. I disagree with that. I think that that is phony and I don't really like it. But that's just my opinion. So that's something to really, you know, those are the pros and cons to really think about when it comes to the Venom tank. I don't necessarily think that this is a Venom RDA because if you think about the Venom RDA, it didn't have any airflow inserts, and that's the main, you know, thing on this is the airflow inserts. You can have a customizable airflow. The Venom RDA didn't have that. The only thing this shares with the Venom RDA is that little disc underneath, and the airflow wide open is the same, but other than that, they don't look the same. They have different drip tip styles. So, you know, that's something you guys got to really look at if you're getting into this. Now, it does have the same identical airflow as the Venom RDA, so you may like it in those circumstances. Well, what would I do? Would you buy this, or would I buy this rather? You know, it's $99, almost $100. I mean, look, I don't know. For 99 bucks, that's your decision whether you think it's a good one or a bad one. I think there's other RDAs or RDTAs coming out at the moment that I would pick over this. I think this is a good deal. I almost feel like they wanted to do this with the Venom RDA, but then they just rushed it or something like that, so they implemented the airflow inserts into this. So I think this is an improved version of the Venom RDA, and you get a, you know, condensed chamber, so it does make it better in those aspects. So that being said, guys, I think for 99 bucks, I mean, it's something you could try out, you know. I don't think I'm going to be using it. It's not going to continue to be in my daily rotation, but, you know, it's there for you guys to look at and to try, and, you know, one last little vape just to give you guys a shot. Every time like money. Absolutely hate these drip tips. But that being said, guys, that's the Venom tank. And you know what? You like some cotton, maybe some tweezers. You like some e-juice? Why don't you go check out Premium Vape Supply and use my discount code. Whether that's here, or here, or here. One last place. Here. And get 20% off your whole purchase. Yes, I said it, your whole purchase. One last little shameless plug. Why don't you go check out Lion Wholesale, get yourself some batteries. You can't vape without batteries. What you gonna do? And why don't you come check us out on Monday nights, whether it's me, myself, Eric the Vaping Politician, William from Cooper's Vaping View, and a special guest. Most nights on Monday. Come check us out, 9 p.m. Eastern. And just come BS, come chat, come have a good time. And that being said, guys, I do appreciate every single one of you. I'm trying to get back on track, putting videos out every week. 2 videos out every week at that. But yes, a lot of RDTAs coming up, a lot of mods coming up. Hope to see you in the chat, hope to see you in the comments, and let's do this.